Am I the asshole for going against my wife and letting my daughter ruin Easter? My wife, 48, and I, 37, have 5 daughters, 17, 13, 6, and twins 3. My wife and her family take clothes very seriously. They always coordinate their outfits when doing family get-togethers and think it's important to bond as a family, with photos and stuff. I personally think it's a bit silly, but I usually just go along with whatever my wife decides. Our eldest is just like her mother when it comes to clothes, and the youngest 3 don't really care. However, our 13-year-old has started to get really self-conscious about clothes and fashion, and her style is definitely different from her mother's. This has caused some issues between them, but I've mostly convinced my wife to allow her to dress herself as she wants. For Easter, my wife wanted us all to dress up in Easter-themed clothes. The rest of her family did, and it is important to her. However, our second oldest just refused. She didn't want to wear the Easter clothes because she felt it was too childish and ugly basically. They argued about it and it was both petty and going nowhere, so I intervened and basically allowed our second oldest to wear what she wants, as long as it's appropriate. We spent the day with my wife's family and it was really good. The girls had a lot of fun with their cousins and probably too much chocolate. My mother and sister-in-law did criticize our daughter's clothes, though only to my wife and I, not to our daughter. After we got home, my wife was pretty angry I went against her. She said we were meant to be a united front and that I had no right to interfere with her decision. She says our second oldest is part of the family and has to act like it. Her family did judge us for it, but honestly it's just some clothes. I don't see why it's such a big deal. If our daughter hates him, she shouldn't have to wear it, I think. But my wife is still pissed at me for ruining her family Easter. My best friend thinks they're being ridiculous, but says I should have backed my wife up anyways. I feel like I'm going crazy with how seriously everyone is taking all this. Am I really wrong to just let our daughter choose for herself? Or should I have just let my wife decide?
Am I the asshole for pretending I can't cook and not allowing my daughter to attend Easter? I, 30, female, am married to my husband, 32. He usually does all the cooking, and it works for us. Sometimes I cook as well, but it's very few and far between. My husband's family likes to have potlucks where the women all bring different dishes. I am a good cook, but I don't enjoy it, so we've always just said I can't cook. We've been married 3 years and this hasn't been an issue. My husband and I have a daughter who's 5. She mentioned to my sister-in-law how mommy makes the best seafood casserole while trying my sister-in-law's. My sister-in-law mentioned something about the comment to my husband and he explained how I just don't enjoy cooking, so I don't do it often and don't want to cook for family parties. My sister-in-law told my mother-in-law, and now all the women in my husband's family have been texting me that I'm selfish for letting them do all the work at family parties. So I said I don't enjoy cooking and will not be cooking for a family party. We all went back and forth a few times, so I said the next family party, Easter this weekend, my daughter and I will not be attending then. My mother-in-law said I'm an asshole for not allowing my daughter to attend, saying it's manipulative, and that I should just make the dish and suck it up like everyone else. My husband said he's staying out of it right now, but that he understands my position. He said maybe just make a dish one time to have peace on Easter, and I refused. So am I the asshole for pretending I couldn't cook for all these years? And for not allowing my daughter to attend Easter? Edits for clarification. My daughter will still spend Easter with my family, just not my husband's. He can't take her alone because he's on call for work that weekend. We did try buying store-bought once and it was never served on purpose. My husband doesn't cook for these events because it's time-consuming making a dish large enough, and he works a lot. Making a meal for our family doesn't take nearly as much time since there's only 2 adults and a small child. Update. My husband and I have talked about this weekend. He reached out to his mom and let her know we will not be attending if I have to cook anything. I don't know what happened during their conversation that made him so upset, but his mom has since retracted her statement and said it's fine, they just want to see their grandchild. My husband let them know that since this was the hill they wanted to die on, that he will also not be attending Easter, and that we will not be attending as a family unless the women in his family apologize for attacking me. We will be spending the full day Easter with my family, which my daughter is happy to spend the day with her cousins. My husband said we will not be attending another of his family's parties unless I'm 100% comfortable, and if any comments or remarks are made we will be leaving and not returning.
Am I the asshole for telling off my uncle over Easter eggs? So, my family just did their yearly egg hunt. I was the designated egg hider this year, including our grand prize egg. During the hunt we let my youngest, 3-year-old cousin, think he won, because he found a gold egg that wasn't part of the hunt, but he needed to go home. As I was bringing him to get his prize, just an Easter basket that he would have gotten anyway, my uncle lied and told him the egg would have $100 in it. There had been multiple times during the day I had to say, "Hey, please don't do that," to him, making unwelcome jokes, and him not stopping after I told him to. After I got the youngest home, the older kids kept looking for the actual prize egg. My uncle then proceeded to tell the kids I hid it in my car, already knowing that that wasn't where it was. I immediately told him not to tell them that, because we have always had cars being an off-limits spot. He doubled down saying I was lying and I totally put it in there. Now this is where I might be the asshole, but I went off a little telling him that I didn't need my little cousins going through my personal property to look for an egg that isn't there. That as a single adult, there might be items in my car my little cousins don't need to see. That I wouldn't tell them to go dig around his car because I understand that's his personal property, and asked why would it be okay for him to do it to mine? He tried to laugh it off as a joke, but I don't know how more clear I could be by saying don't and no. And also, is it really too much to ask for at least some decency for when another adult says no, you listen?
Am I the asshole for not making special Easter baskets that I always make for my kids' grandparents this year? I'm a newly divorced mother to 3 young kids, all under the age of 10. My ex, their father, gave me full custody. The divorce caused issues between myself and my ex's parents, as well as issues with my own parents. Despite my attempts to keep them out of it, these issues have spread to the kids, too. The only relatives I'm still on good terms with are my grandparents, and my ex's sister. Easter is in a few days, and every year I would get my kids to make custom Easter baskets for all of the above families. By custom I mean they would create and design a handmade card. We would bake a few things, like Easter nests or carrot cake, and we'd make handmade Easter egg halves using these chocolate molds I have shaped like Easter eggs, which we would fill with their favorite sweets. The result would be a giant basket of sugar that I would hand deliver with the kids in tow. Given the changes of restrictions, we dropped off baskets a couple days ago to my grandparents and my sister-in-law. Due to my relationship with my parents and my ex's parents, I arranged for some store-bought eggs to be delivered to their house. Decent quality ones, from actual chocolate companies, not the shit ones you get at the supermarket for £1 each, but still not the custom baskets they usually get. I chose to do this not out of bitterness or resentment, but because the baskets are meant for people we're close with, which we aren't right now, and the kids didn't want to do it, either. We never told anyone what we were doing, but apparently my grandparents and parents compared theirs and my sister-in-law and parents-in-law compared theirs, also. The parents, as in mine and my ex's, feel slighted. They have called me and chastised me for what they feel is me sending a message and intentionally leaving them out. I responded that it's nothing personal, only a couple people got baskets this year, and pointed out that I still sent them nice stuff from brands they like. However, they're still offended at the lack of personalization and want an apology and a basket, which I've said no to. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for canceling Easter? My mother and my sister-in-law, my husband's brother's wife, do not get along. Apparently they used to, but at some point after my sister-in-law had kids, things got strained between them, and they've had a negative relationship for years. After a year-long battle with breast cancer, My sister-in-law's mom passed away a few months ago. Unexpectedly, her father passed away in the same weekend. It's been a really hard time for my sister-in-law, so my brother-in-law and my husband and I have offered to help in any way we can. My mother-in-law was snowbirding, vacationing down south during the winter when the deaths occurred. Even though she's known my sister-in-law's parents for 15+ years, she didn't come back for the funerals and sent a condolence card a month after the funerals took place. She never called my sister-in-law directly, only spoke to my brother-in-law about anything going on and passed messages through him. Other borderline shady things have happened since the funerals, but this is the straw that's breaking the camel's back. Yesterday was Grandparents' Day at my nephew's school. They both had expressed they weren't sure if they even wanted to go to school, but since their grandma signed up to go, the kids decided they would go too. Their mom, my sister-in-law, is a teacher at this school, which is small. My mother-in-law didn't say a word to her the entire day. My sister-in-law went to my nephew's classroom to check on him and found out my mother-in-law had taken both kids home with her 30 minutes prior without saying a word to their mother. Their grandma taking them was planned, but having to find out from your coworker that your children are gone is not something you expect. My sister-in-law texted my mother-in-law to ask what happened, and she replied saying my sister-in-law was talking to someone else at the time, and she didn't want to bother her, so they left. My sister-in-law pushed back, saying my mother-in-law never came over to her classroom and she shouldn't be taking the kids without telling her. My mother-in-law then claimed she was doing my sister-in-law a favor, so she shouldn't be upset. My husband and I are furious with his mom. Not only is she normally annoying with her animosity towards my sister-in-law, but her parents just died, and this was a tough day, a day her parents would normally have been at the school to see their grandkids. We are supposed to go to my mother-in-law's for Easter tomorrow, but I want to cancel. My husband doesn't think we should get in the middle of it, but I'm of the mindset that someone needs to stand up for my sister-in-law and put my mother-in-law in her place. I truly don't think she's going to stop treating my sister-in-law poorly until she starts facing some consequences to her actions. There are so many more details I could dump into this to show how crazy my mother-in-law is towards my sister-in-law, but I don't want to make this any longer than it is. So, am I the asshole if I cancel Easter and stand up for my sister-in-law?